And so the congressional investigation has now produced this damning indictment of the president and the other people who he involved in this, who didn't blow the whistle and who helped to cover it up. The impeachment proceedings against the president remain, sort of a question mark in terms of how exactly they're going to prosecute this case against him, how much more they will need, how they may try to tailor these charges to try to achieve his removal in the Senate, not just his impeachment in the House. I mean, when the first members of Congress hearing this deposition today came outside and said to reporters that this new information may accelerate the time frame in terms of when the president gets impeached, I mean, you can see why, right? Now that we know, at least in part, what Bill Taylor testified to. I mean, how much more do they need after this? How much more do you need to hear? How much more evidence is anybody going to need to see? So there's the investigation. There's the question about the impeachment of the president. But alongside those two proceedings, there's this third lane, right? It's proceeding kind of alongside and adjacent to this, this idiotic spy movie that is such a simple plot, it doesn't even have time for a twist, right? And that other lane is the criminal proceedings here. I mean, Bill Barr and Brian Benczkowski, the head of the criminal division at the Justice Department, may have decided at Main Justice that definitely nobody should look into this. But that's not holding everywhere. I mean, when it came to carrying out what Bill Taylor today described as the highly irregular channel of U.S. policymaking that was running this scheme on behalf of the president, I mean, everybody involved in that is like in jail or going to jail or fighting going to jail. This was a scheme in which Rudy Giuliani apparently consulted with the president's imprisoned former campaign chairman. He employed some mysterious services of two men who are now under criminal indictment for funneling illegal foreign campaign contributions to the president's reelection effort and various Republican campaigns. They're due to be arraigned in federal court in New York tomorrow. We learned tonight at Politico.com that at least one of them will be using one of Paul Manafort's lawyers at his arraignment. The two of them also used Paul Manafort's lawyers in Virginia at their initial court appearance after they were arrested at Dulles Airport trying to leave the country. The Kremlin-linked Ukrainian oligarch who funded Paul Manafort's old pro-Putin work in Ukraine back in the day, to whom Paul Manafort has still reportedly had financial ties while he was serving as Trump's campaign chairman, who was reportedly, according to Reuters, financing the operations of these guys who were working with Giuliani on this scheme. That Ukrainian oligarch himself is under federal indictment in this country as well. He's fighting extradition to the United States to face charges in a huge bribery case. And the president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, is now being described as a person of interest in at least two federal investigations, one of which appears potentially to be a counterintelligence investigation. So everybody involved with Rudy Giuliani in this scheme, the irregular outside the government part of this scheme that Ambassador Bill Taylor described today in his sworn deposition, everybody involved in the Giuliani part of this is either already modeling the latest in GPS ankle monitors or is nevertheless looking forward to a future career as a fine distiller of prison wine made from toilet water, old fruit, and packets of sugar. I mean, those guys are a piece of work, right? From Manafort on down. The administration officials who are involved in this are either coming forward now and telling what they know, or they're hiding from subpoenas, or some combination thereof. And of course, the president himself is basically perfectly exposed at this point. I mean, all these claims about the president being, immune from investigation and nobody who's ever worked in the government is ever allowed to testify about any behavior of the president. Well, that only worked as far as you could throw it, apparently. This is going fast now. But I think that these depositions are very important on their own terms. They're also incredibly important in terms of who they're from, the credibility of these people who are giving these depositions, and the fact that they are all, thus far, mutually enforcing. The only people who have testified anything differently than the way it's been described by every other witness are the people who are most implicated in the scheme as being closest to the president while he was trying to carry it out. Lots more to get to tonight. We're going to speak with a member of Congress who was there for this deposition today. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.